All right, today we're going to talk about a really powerful way of looking at ourselves, thinking of your inner world as a city. Seriously, we're going to see how this idea of an inner city can give you a completely new map for navigating your life and, yeah, your relationships too. So let's grab a hard hat and get started. Have you ever felt that you're just stuck in this, emotional gridlock? Communication completely breaks down, everything feels confusing, congested. You're trying to get somewhere with someone, but you're just not moving. It's an incredibly frustrating feeling, and it's super common. And maybe the reason we keep getting stuck is that we're using the wrong map. Or maybe no map at all. What if there was a better way to see the whole landscape of our inner selves and our relationships? A new perspective that could actually help clear up all that congestion. And that's exactly where this new map comes in. I want you to imagine that building a city is the blueprint for understanding how a relationship is actually structured. It's a way of taking all that invisible internal stuff and making it visible. So let's get a name, the city self theory. Now, this isn't some absolute cosmic truth, okay? It's a mental model, a practical tool. Think of yourself as an urban planner. You're using the raw materials of your mind, your thoughts, your experiences, to build a city that is, basically, you. And wow, the difference between a healthy city and an unhealthy one is just night and day. A healthy relationship? That's like a thriving city. It's got shared infrastructure, regular maintenance, things just work. But when we neglect it, well, that's when you get those emotional traffic jams. All the unresolved issues start piling up like garbage on the street corners, and the lights of connection just flicker and burn out, one by one. This leads us to a really crucial problem. What happens when our city starts to decay? Often, instead of picking up a broom or fixing a pothole, we do something else. We just pack our bags and we leave. We completely abandon our own city. But why? Why on earth would we do that? Well, we migrate from our own inner city when we just can't stand to look at it anymore. We can't face the reality of the cracked sidewalks, the neglected parks. It happens when we can't face who we really are, with all our flaws, but also all our potential. It just feels easier to walk away. And when we abandon ourselves like this, we fall into a classic trap: blame. Instead of taking ownership of our decaying city, we start pointing fingers at everything, everyone else. We blame our circumstances, we blame the people around us, we even blame abstract things like time or the universe. But here's the real kicker. This migration, it's not a journey to some better place. You're not finding a new, shinier city down the road. At its core, it's about the loss of your own home. There's this brilliant analogy that really captures it perfectly. Think about Adam and Eve. Maybe their real exile wasn't a punishment for some mistake. Maybe it was the natural consequence of losing connection to their inner home, to their authentic selves. They just became wanderers in their own story. So, okay, if we've migrated away, if we've become wanderers, how in the world do we get back? How do we reclaim the city we abandoned? Well, thankfully, there is a passport for the return journey. The path back home, the price you have to pay for true freedom, is just this: accepting responsibility. And let's be really clear, this isn't about blame. It's the complete opposite. It's the powerful, freeing acknowledgement that you are the architect. You're the caretaker of your own inner world. So, I want you to think of it this way. Responsibility isn't some heavy burden you have to carry. No, it's your passport. It's the thing that grants you re-entry. It is the literal key that unlocks the gates to your own city, letting you walk back in as its one and only rightful citizen. And that brings us to a huge distinction. Once you're back inside the city gates with your passport in hand, what role are you going to play? Are you there to stay and to build, or are you just passing through? The difference really comes down to this. A citizen builds. A citizen accepts responsibility. A citizen pays taxes, and by that I mean they do the hard, unglamorous work, like really listening when you're tired, or having that difficult conversation. They stay because the city itself matters to them. A tourist, though, they just visit. They only want things. They take a few superficial photos, a big romantic gesture here and there, but they are out of there the second it gets inconvenient. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Just wanting a better life or a better relationship without actually taking on the responsibility of showing up for the day-to-day work, that's just tourism, and it doesn't lead to growth. In fact, it's a recipe for regression. It lets the city fall even further into disrepair. So becoming a citizen of your inner city, That's a lifetime commitment. It is not a one-and-done project. Your inner world is a living, breathing ecosystem. It's constantly changing, and it needs your attention, day in and day out.
And the kind of work it needs isn't always the same. Sometimes your city needs a full-blown revolution, a radical, fundamental change. Other times, it just needs some careful renovation of old habits or beliefs. Maybe it needs some brand new construction, a new skill, a new relationship. And sometimes, honestly, the most productive thing you can do is just find a quiet park bench and reflect for a little while.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question. Take a look at the map of your own inner world. Right now, what does your city truly need from you, its citizen, today? Does it need a revolution, a little renovation, or maybe it just needs a quiet moment of reflection on a park bench? The choice and all the beautiful ongoing work is all yours.